There are a lot of episodes in the Pokemon anime, over 1,300 of them at least. With all of these episodes, it's easy to get caught up and stop paying attention sometimes. After all, there's a lot of filler and a lot of waiting. That's why in today's video, I'll be choosing 10 of my favorite Pokemon episodes ever, that I'm sure you guys will enjoy just as much as I did. In that regard, this video is more for the casuals, as I won't be choosing episodes with Pokemon battles or league battles in them. Got it? Then before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Number 10. The Ghost of Maiden's Peak. This eerie classic is far more than just another filler episode. I think it's a masterpiece of Pokemon spookiness. Set during a festival, Ash and the gang encounter the haunting tale of a maiden who waits for her lost love. But of course, this is Pokemon, so the haunting is caused by none other than Ghastly, who's pulling off some of the most ghosty tricks we've ever seen. I loved all the funny interactions between Ash and Misty when he was scaring her and Brock. Above all else though, this episode works perfectly in a Halloween setting, and even has a few morals to be appreciative of life and each passing day. If only Ash could have caught that damn haunter. At least we got Gengar in Pokemon Journeys. This episode gave us chills, a dose of comedy, and an unforgettable spookiness. Number 9. Bye Bye Butterfree. If there's one episode of Pokemon to embody bittersweet, it would be this one. When Butterfree falls in love, Ash has to let his first ever caught Pokemon go, so it can live his best life away from him. It's a beautiful moment of growth for Ash, as he learns what it truly means to care for his Pokemon and put them first. The flashbacks of Butterfree's journey from a Caterpie to a Butterfree was so emotional to watch. No matter how many times I watch this episode, this one always hits the hardest. Number 8. The Battling Eevee Brothers. This episode brought us some serious evolution love. Ash and friends stumble across a lost Eevee, leading them to a group of brothers who each represent a different evolution: Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. It's an episode filled with debates, decisions, and showcasing why Pokemon should evolve on their own terms. This really helped Ash sort out his thoughts about evolving Pikachu, and if it was a good idea for this future. Especially since he still had that electric stone from earlier in the season at its disposal. Overall, I liked this episode, and it was one of the few times Pokemon showcased one of its most loved Pokemon, Eevee. Number 7. Charizard Chills. Remember when Charizard was basically Ash's rebellious teenager? In this episode, everything changes. Charizard learns to trust Ash after an intense battle in the snow, where Ash keeps him warm throughout the night. This was so relieving to see, as it was the most annoying thing to hear Charizard not listen to Ash, especially when Ash was against Richie. Charizard gave up and didn't choose to even battle. After this episode, their bond is unbreakable, and Charizard would begin to once again start battling with heart and determination. This wasn't just a turning point for Charizard, it was a moment of growth for Ash as a trainer. Number 6. Go West Young Meowth. Meowth is more than a Team Rocket's comic relief character, and this episode proves it. In this episode, we get a rare glimpse into his backstory, from learning how to walk on 2 legs to try and win the love of a glamorous Meowth named Meowsy. This episode isn't just emotional, it's borderline poetic. Meowth's journey to prove himself is one of the most touching stories in the entire series. I won't say this episode is deep, but the level of storytelling in this episode is without a doubt a peak in the Pokemon anime. Number 5. Gotta catch you later. This is the episode where it all changed. Misty had to return home, Brock left to pursue his own goals, and Ash is left to continue his journey alone. The trio that defined Pokemon for 5 seasons says goodbye in one of the most heart-wrenching episodes of all time. The goodbye song was a complete punch to the soul. It's a bittersweet farewell to an era of friendship and adventure. While Brock would return the next series, and they would all meet up eventually, there's no denying that this episode was the end of an era. Number 4. The Battle of the Badge. Gym battles in Kanto were something special, and this one takes the cake. Ash's rival Gary gets absolutely demolished by Team Rocket, posing as gym leaders. Ash steps in to save the day, showcasing Pikachu's growth and loyalty. It's got everything: epic battles, Gary's first loss, and Ash winning a badge in the most unconventional way possible. Talk about high stakes. Number 3. Pokemon I Choose You. How can you not love the very first episode of Pokemon? Ash oversleeps, gets stuck with Pikachu, and immediately forms an unshakable bond with his new partner during a life or death encounter with Spearows. This episode set the tone for the entire series. We were introduced to Gary and Professor Oak. So much was perfect about this episode, and the final shot of Ho-Oh flying across the sky was pure magic. Number 2. Electric Shock Showdown. This is the episode where Pikachu truly became one of his own. Ash challenges Lieutenant Surge's Raichu in a David and Goliath type battle. Surge mocks Ash for not evolving Pikachu, but Pikachu proves that heart and strategy can triumph over brute strength. However, after losing the first time, Ash heavily considered evolving Pikachu, but chose not to take the easy way out. When Pikachu finally won using its speed and determination, it was not just a victory, it was a lesson for Ash about believing in himself and his Pokemon. Number 1. One journey ends, another begins. This episode wraps up Ash's Kalos journey with heartache and closure. Saying goodbye to Ash Greninja, one of his most iconic Pokemon, hit fans right in the heart. The departure of Serena and the rest of Ash's companions was incredibly heartfelt. It was a perfect blend of nostalgia, growth, and a bittersweet reminder that all great journeys eventually come to an end. It's Pokemon storytelling at its finest. One more thing I want to point out about this episode is how similar it is to the last episode of Black and White, but this one is so much more memorable in our minds. And that concludes my list of the 10 best Pokemon episodes. Do you guys agree or disagree? Mention some episodes I missed down in the comments, or leave any video ideas you guys have for me. And remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.